Betrayal may have ended his friendship and lost him a love, but it sure paid his way out of debt.
My lazy friend moved off me for 5 months, and now I'm ready to be paid.
I'm not paying because I know for a fact that he slept with my fiancée.
Telemarketer Lee Saffold is suing his former friend for rent and living expenses. Defendant Jose Cruz says he doesn't owe anything because the plaintiff betrayed him. Now, here's Judge Joe Brown.
You're suing the defendant who was staying with you for past due rents and living expenses.
That's correct.
How long have you known him?
I know him about close to 3 years.
What happened?
Well, what happened was, yeah, he needs some place to stay with his girl or whatever the case may be. And naturally, if you ask me, I got someplace for him to stay. I let him come and stay with me.
Yeah, okay.
And when he came, you know, we had an agreement right from the door. You know, you got this settlement coming. You did have all this money when you came in, and based on that, by all means, come and stay with me.
Now, why did you need to go stay with him?
Well, I had moved out to Miami for a little bit, and things didn't work out over there, so I was coming back to stay in Orlando. And I basically, you know, it was a quick move. I didn't have a place to stay, and I knew I was going to be buying a home later, so I didn't want to get into a lease in an apartment, so I did ask if I could stay with Lee for a little bit.
So you had $10,000 basically cash assets, or at least a check for that amount in your possession?
Yeah, which was going to go down to, for a down payment on the home.
Okay, now you were waiting
fiancé.
some kind of settlement. What was that supposed to be for?
Well, I had an accident at work. There was a hazmat situation
Talking about an on-the-job injury. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, how long did he stay there with you?
He stayed there for like 5 months, from like March to August.
Now, what kind of agreement did you have relative to rent?
We had an agreement. The agreement was, in the start, that he was getting this big check at the end, a settlement check, and so as long as I stay with you, I'm just going to give you $5,000 when I get paid, when I get the check. That's fine. Because we didn't know how long it was going to be for the check to come anyway. But the agreement was, when he moved in, was it's $500 a month for rent. That's for you and your girl, you know, and plus any other expenses. Not to mention all the money that he borrowed from me, the food he ate, just being a louse, laying around, doing nothing to him. When he did work, never throw me nothing, and it never bothered me that he didn't give me anything because I knew this money was coming later on. This is my friend, supposedly. But my understanding is he ain't having intentions of paying me anyway, because he's telling me he don't want to pay me because he think I slept with his girl or whatever. But that's got nothing to do with the fact that you did live in my apartment. You know what I'm saying? You did eat my food. You did do all the things that you did, and we did agree that you was gonna pay me. And then for him to just get his money and stiff me that way.
First of all, Your Honor, it was my fiancée. Second off,
couldn't be if you ain't married to her.
We were getting married, man. I mean, if I purchased a ring and proposed to someone, we getting married, man.
Yeah, that's what you tell me.
Yeah, and you knew that, and that's you know, and you're supposed to be a friend to me, Your Honor. You know, a
friend pays his bills. That's what I'm saying. You know I got kids.
Yeah, but
you know, you stand in my place. You eat up my food. You drive my car. You do
first of all, you just so I can explain myself. He makes it seem like, you know, I was just sitting around, like I was just eating up his food. I did have a job. A month.
You didn't give me no money?
Yeah, because, I mean, I know for a fact that, you know, he did sleep with my fiancée, and I don't feel that.
You don't know for a fact that's what your fiancée. You ain't never seen me.
Well, let's hear about the business matter, the contract issue here, the rent matter. How much was the rent supposed to be a week?
A month? $500 a month.
$500 a month for
right.
5 months.
That's correct.
That's $2,500. Now, how do you get to $4,500?
Well, like I said, the $2,500 for the rent, not to mention the $500 he borrowed once.
He borrowed $500.
He borrowed $500 for some event that we had in Orlando. He borrowed money on several occasions. That's just one of the occasions. That's the most he borrowed at one time. He borrowed $150 one time for something he wanted to do with his girl. Twice, actually, he borrowed that. And again, all this right here I'm doing, no problem, because I know the money going to come back to me within a month or so.
And he knew he was
5 months.
He knew he was sleeping with my fiancée.
You keep saying that, but I mean, what proof you got, bro? I ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, man. I ain't slept with your girl. And my understanding is that he had no intention on paying me from the jump, and this whole sleep with his girl thing, they wasn't working out, obviously. Anyway, so this is a good excuse for him to get out of paying me what I'm owed.
That's not true.
And,
I mean,
well, I mean, I know the way to explain it though. That's the only thing I can see. Even if I was sleeping with your girl, that got nothing to do with you not paying me my money. You staying in my spot.
Basically, I mean, I lived there for about 5 months. 3 months into me living there, my witness here hangs out in the same circle, and she knows for a fact, the girl has said it before.
How does she know for a fact?
My fiancé has said it before directly in the crowd that they hang out in, and it's been said before, and people in the neighborhood have told me.
He said, she said, or she said, she said.
Your Honor, there's several occasions where I came home and, you know, she was supposed to be out looking for work all day, and the people in the neighborhood told me she's staying at the house. She has never gone out anywhere. Another time...
Well, where were you?
I was out looking for work also.
You can't, because if you work, then you'd blow
I
your
was
claim
told
for
I
having
could
a
do- I
permanent
was told I
partial
could do a job.
disability for workman's comp.
Well, I was told I could do a job if it's a sit-down job, like an office
Yeah, well, how do you, so you go out every day looking for a job, but yet you don't pay
He
any
say he
rent
looking
for
for a
5
job.
whole doggone months. Where were you?
You say you're looking for it. That's my point exactly. Like, you
Where
know,
were you instead of being at home if you had no job and you were out
I was
looking
looking
for
for work,
one
Your
for
Honor.
5 whole
Yeah.
months and you don't find one?
No, I did find a job. I actually did find a
You
job.
did?
Yeah.
Did they know about that relative to your capacity to work?
I had previously discussed that with the person who was representing me in that, and I know for a fact that the
so
job
you
that I
did
got
work.
wasn't-
Well, if you worked, why didn't you pay him? Since you're borrowing $500 to go get your girlfriend a party dress to go out to go have a good time when you're supposed to be injured, seems to me that when
By
you
the way,
have
no question
hard
never bothered me.
times, you're supposed to act like it. Well, okay,
I mean,
that's your
I
defense.
was willing to hold my end of the agreement up until,
But you
I mean,
didn't.
this
So you found,
conspired.
well, did you ask him? Did he ever admit to you, yeah, I've been, you know,
I mean,
like
of course he's
touching
not
it
going to
up?
admit to it. I
never
Of
was,
course
asked
he's
you.
not.
He
Did
just
you
accused
ask
me.
her?
I asked her before, and of course she's going to deny it
She
also.
denied it too.
Yeah.
She denied it, he denied it. All right, now you have a witness. Come on up. Who might you be? Tell me what you can add to this mix.
nothing.
Basically, I don't know nothing about that whole situation, but I
But
do
you
know
seem to have jumped in it and told him, look, your woman is wronging you. She's sleeping with your homie.
that. Yeah, I'm gonna tell him.
Where did you find this out?
While we were hanging out,
You and who?
me and her and some
How'd
other
you get to
mutual
be
friends.
tight with her?
Well, we're not tight. We're indirect friends.
Yeah.
We're indirect
We hang out with
friends.
The same
Yeah.
circle of friends.
Wait, what did his former girlfriend do to earn a living?
While she was with Miles, she didn't do nothing.
What was she doing otherwise?
What she did prior to that, but she
Not
didn't do
one
nothing
that I
with
know
Miles.
of.
How old was she?
She's about 23.
And you are 32, you happen to be tight with a 23-year-old who's got some mutual friends, and you report back to your 25-year-old male friend here, hey, I got to tell you that I heard from a friend girl that your girlfriend had been saying she got it going on with dude that you all living with.
Well, I didn't hear it from a friend girl.
Who'd you hear it
I
from?
heard it out her mouth.
What'd
That's
she
right.
say?
Yeah, right.
She basically can't hold her liquor, and she came out and she was talking about it. She liked him. She was into him.
You like
and
me
she
too.
admitted it.
Oh, he had it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let it come out.
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown.
You know when you come home and there's a weird vibe, you know, the person's supposed to be out all day.
What vibe? What's
You guys
weird?
are sitting on the couch
What?
next to each
We
other.
friends. We sit down and watch TV
Sitting on the
together.
couch next to each other, watching TV. All of a sudden,
We
it's
friends.
panic. It's panic
What
time.
panic?
And later today, she talked.
Buy any large pizza at regular menu price and get a second pizza of equal or lesser value free. Get the door. It's Domino's 2 times Tuesday.
2 p.m. Tuesday, Top Model gets down in.
With his fiance. He says he didn't, but the defendant is using that as an excuse not to pay him rent. Let's take a look.
Do you know her?
Yeah.
Where you know
We
her
all know
from?
each
We
other.
all from the same neighborhood.
How well do you know her?
I know her.
Yeah, how well do you know
I
me?
know her well enough to know she's telling a lie right now.
Really?
Well, how would you know that? You have to convince me
Like,
right of
based
fact.
on what? So she's saying some girl who she ain't even tight with just decided to give her dad information.
You asked why a 32-year-old would be hanging with a 20-something-year-old. We know
Yeah.
each other from work. We
Who?
all
You
had
and
the
who?
same job.
You and who?
Yes.
Her?
No, these two. We have mutual friends.
Who are
We
who?
go out to the club.
Whom?
Who are our mutual friends?
Yes.
Several people from the job.
So what's your interest in this whole thing?
I don't have an interest.
Well, why is he important enough to you to go pull his coattail?
Because he's my friend.
Where
And
do you
he's
know? Where do you know him from?
from the job.
I thought he was out looking for jobs
this is-
every
This is
day.
before. This
See,
is
Ron,
before.
And before he went to, after
I
he
left
came
to
back
Miami.
from Miami.
Yeah.
Before he left to Miami. The
How
three of us
long,
were working at a
how long
resort.
ago was that?
About 2 years. I've been there 2 years.
And he was there 2 years ago, went to Miami, got hurt on the job, and came back, right?
That's correct.
So what are you doing hanging out with a 22-year-old male and you are 30-something?
We're just friends.
We're just
we're
friends,
friends
sir.
from work. I mean,
That's
it's-
correct.
What kind of friends are y'all?
So you just had to go spread this rumor.
Your Honor, it wasn't only her telling me things. I mean, there were situations where I would come home from work early and you know when you come home and there's a weird vibe, you know, the person's supposed to be out all day.
What
You guys
weird?
are sitting on the couch
What?
next to each
We
other.
friends. We sit down and watch TV
Sitting
together.
on the couch next to each other watching TV. All of a sudden,
We
it's
friends.
panic. It's panic
What
time.
panic?
Let's scramble. Let's make sure.
Wait a minute,
everything's-
wait. And by the way, who was paying the rent for the overall
was paying. I
purchase?
still pay the rent.
How did he get the wherewithal to pay the rent?
How was he paying the rent? What do you mean?
Yes. He had a job?
Yeah.
When did he earn his money if every day he's sitting at home with your
I
unemployed
didn't say
girlfriend?
every day. I said on certain occasions. I
Certain
would come
occasions.
home.
What certain? No, you're saying she's staying there instead of going what? Looking for a job? She's going out telling you, I'm looking for a job, baby. Get up, go to look for a job, but turn right back around to go back where he is on days when you just happen to be looking for sit-down employment every day for this whole period of time.
Well, at the point where
That's
I started
stupid. Do
coming
you
home-
mean you put your fiance down for some BS like that?
That's my point, you know.
That is really dumb.
He don't
You
believe
know
those
what?
things,
You
lady.
got her mad at you. You lost a woman in your life behind some stupidity. And woman, you evil over here. You what you call a low-down gossip monger. You broke these
Hey,
two
you.
up because your
Hey,
mouth is
no,
big.
sir,
And if it was a drunk girl, then you
sir, I
should
did
have
not.
shut your foolish mouth and
Exactly.
closed it before you
Exactly.
started all this hassle.
Your Honor, it wasn't
like
only
that.
her that told me things. There was
That's
several
right.
other people in the neighborhood.
right.
Male or female?
For sure.
Male or female?
Male and
Oh,
female.
What man?
Why
Who-
do
who-
they like
who
you
said
that
it?
much? Why in the world would he have to sneak and do that?
Because he was doing it behind my back.
I wouldn't
he
do
couldn't
that.
do it in my face.
I
You know what
wouldn't, I
time it
wouldn't
is.
sleep with your lady, bro. Come on, man.
First of all, Your Honor, just
How many people out there think this whole mess was caused by idle gossip? Yes, if you do. No, if you don't.
all right, man.
Tell you anything.
See that? That's just downright stupid. Okay, fine. Let me just get to it. I find your claim for rent's reasonable. $2,500. I'll give you half of this for the living expenses. Bottom line is that was dumb. And you stop being vicious. Keep your mouth shut. Nothing worse than a gossip. You get $3,500 on your claim. That's the judgment and the court costs. And he lost his girlfriend.
Sir, you make right the door to your right. Hang on, you can follow behind me.
The plaintiff has told the defendant he never slept with the defendant's fiancée, but the defendant refused to believe it or pay his debt. He will pay now. Now, we're on to the next case. Please wait.